Have you ever stopped to think about how truly incredible your heart is? This magnificent muscle, roughly the size of your fist, beats tirelessly, day in and day out, around 100,000 times a day, pumping life-giving blood to every corner of your body. It's the very engine of your existence. And as we gracefully navigate our 60s and beyond, nurturing its health becomes one of the most profound acts of self-care we can undertake. But here's a gentle, yet important question. What are some of the foods we consume every day? Perhaps out of habit, comfort, or simply convenience, are unknowingly putting a strain on this vital organ. It's a common dilemma, isn't it? We're often bombarded with conflicting dietary advice, leaving us feeling confused and unsure about what truly supports our heart. You might think you're making good choices, but hidden ingredients or preparation methods can sometimes undermine your best intentions. Today, we're going to demystify some of these nutritional puzzles. We'll compassionately explore 7 everyday foods that, while they might seem innocent or even essential to our routines, could actually be silently hurting your heart after 60. This isn't about strict diets or deprivation. It's about empowerment through knowledge, helping you make informed, conscious choices that truly serve your heart. We'll delve into the why behind the risks in simple, understandable terms. And more importantly, for each food, we'll offer practical, easy-to-implement alternatives. Our goal is to inspire, not restrict, giving you the tools to protect your precious heart for years to come. Let's begin. 1. Processed meats, the sodium and saturated fat bombs. Our first category to gently examine is processed meats. Think about those delicious-looking deli slices for sandwiches, the convenience of sausages at breakfast, hot dogs at barbecue, or even some bacon. While they might be quick and tasty, these items often come packed with 2 major culprits for heart health: excessive sodium and unhealthy saturated fats. Let's consider George, a spry 75-year-old gentleman who loved his morning routine. Every day, without fail, he'd enjoy 2 slices of crispy bacon with his eggs, and his lunches often featured a hearty sandwich piled high with sliced ham or bologna. George had always been active, but lately, his doctor had noted a steady climb in his blood pressure readings, and his cholesterol levels were creeping up. He felt fine, but the numbers were a concern. When his doctor gently inquired about his diet, George explained his usual fare, adding, "It's what I've always eaten." His doctor explained that processed meats are often preserved with a lot of sodium, which can cause your body to retain water, leading to increased blood volume and, consequently, higher blood pressure. High blood pressure or hypertension forces your heart to work harder, stiffens arteries, and increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Furthermore, these meats are frequently high in saturated fats, which can elevate your bad LDL cholesterol levels, leading to plaque buildup in your arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis. This narrowing of the arteries reduces blood flow to your heart, making it susceptible to strain and damage. George was surprised. He hadn't realized the cumulative effect of these seemingly small daily choices. With his doctor's encouragement, he decided to make a change. He started swapping out bacon for leaner protein options like a hard-boiled egg or avocado for breakfast. For his sandwiches, he explored alternatives like roasted chicken breast without the skin, turkey, or even opting for a generous portion of colorful vegetables and hummus. He also began incorporating plant-based proteins like lentils or chickpeas into his meals a few times a week. It wasn't an immediate transformation, but over several months, George noticed a positive shift. His blood pressure readings began to normalize, and his cholesterol levels showed improvement. He also felt lighter and more energetic. He realized that giving up those specific processed meats didn't mean sacrificing flavor or convenience. It simply meant choosing smarter, heart-kinder options. It was a gentle adjustment that brought significant benefits to his heart, allowing him to continue enjoying his active retirement. 2. Sugary drinks, the sweet road to heart strain. Our second category to be mindful of is sugary drinks. We're talking about sodas, fruit juices with added sugar, sweetened teas, and even many sports drinks. These beverages are often perceived as harmless or even refreshing, but they deliver a concentrated dose of sugar without the beneficial fiber you'd find in whole fruits. This rapid influx of sugar can be a silent, yet powerful, adversary to your heart health. Let's consider Margaret, a cheerful 68-year-old who loved her morning glass of orange juice and often indulged in a soda with her lunch, viewing them as a simple pleasure. She considered her diet otherwise healthy, full of vegetables and lean proteins. However, Margaret had recently been diagnosed with prediabetes, and her doctor noted that her triglyceride levels, a type of fat in the blood that can increase heart disease risk, were also elevated. She was confused, as she didn't eat a lot of fatty foods. Her doctor explained that excessive sugar intake, particularly from sugary drinks, is a major contributor to elevated triglycerides. When you consume a lot of sugar, especially fructose, which is abundant in high fructose corn syrup used in many sodas, your liver converts into fat, which then gets stored in the body and released into bloodstream as triglycerides. High triglycerides, along with high LDL, bad, cholesterol, increase the risk of plaque buildup in the arteries. Beyond that, regular consumption of sugary drinks is linked to an increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and inflammation, all factors that significantly heighten the risk of heart disease. The rapid sugar spike also puts a strain on your pancreas and can lead to insulin resistance over time. Margaret was astonished. She'd always associated sugar with weight gain, but not directly with heart health or triglycerides. She decided to tackle this habit head-on. She started by replacing her morning juice with a glass of water infused with fresh lemon or cucumber. For lunch, instead of soda, she opted for unsweetened iced tea or sparkling water with a splash of fruit juice for flavor. She also started eating whole fruits instead of drinking their juice, benefiting from the fiber that helps slow sugar absorption. Within a few months, Margaret's efforts paid off. Her blood sugar readings began to stabilize, and her triglyceride levels showed a significant drop, much to her and her doctor's delight. She felt more energized, less prone to the sugar crashes she hadn't even realized she was experiencing. Margaret learned that simply reducing her intake of sugary beverages was one of the most effective and effortless ways to protect her heart and manage her overall health, proving that sometimes the simplest changes yield the biggest results. 3. Trans fats, the hidden arterial threat. Our third category is one you might not even realize you're consuming. Trans fats. These are industrially produced fats, often found in highly processed foods, baked goods, fried items, and certain margarines. Trans fats are notorious for being the worst type of fat for your heart, as they both raise your bad LDL cholesterol and lower your good HDL cholesterol, creating a double whammy for arterial health. Let's talk about Frank, a 70-year-old who loved convenience food. His pantry often held boxes of crackers, prepackaged pastries, and frozen dinners. He'd also occasionally enjoy fast food fried chicken. Frank had always been relatively healthy, but recent blood tests revealed alarmingly high LDL cholesterol levels, despite him cutting back on red meat. He couldn't understand why his cholesterol was so high. His cardiologist carefully reviewed his diet and explained that while saturated fats from red meat contribute, trans fats are particularly insidious. They are created through a process called hydrogenation, which makes liquid vegetable oils more solid and increases their shelf life. However, this process also creates a fat molecule that wreaks havoc on your arteries. Trans fats promote inflammation, damage the lining of blood vessels, and contribute significantly to atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of your arteries. Even small amounts, consumed regularly, can significantly increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. While many countries have banned or restricted trans fats, they can still be found in some products, often labeled as partially hydrogenated oil. Frank was shocked. He had heard of trans fats, but didn't realize they were so prevalent in his comfort foods. He decided to become a label reader. He meticulously checked ingredients lists, avoiding anything that listed partially hydrogenated oil. He started baking his own simple cookies and muffins, using healthier oils, and opted for air-fried chicken or baked alternatives instead of deep-fried. He swapped out highly processed snacks for whole fruits, vegetables, and nuts. This change wasn't easy at first, as it required a shift in his shopping habits. But as he eliminated trans fats from his diet, Frank's cholesterol levels gradually began to improve. He felt a sense of empowerment knowing he was actively protecting his arteries. He learned that being a discerning consumer and avoiding these hidden threats was a crucial step in maintaining his cardiovascular health. And if you're finding value in these insights and stories, please take a moment to hit that like button. It truly helps us reach more people who can benefit from this vital information. And while you're at it, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss our future videos designed to help you live your healthiest, most vibrant life. And before we move on, I'd love to hear from you. What's one processed food or sugary drink you're considering reducing or replacing after watching this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For excessive salt, sodium the silent blood pressure raiser, our fourth category to consider is excessive salt or sodium. While salt is essential for bodily functions, most Western diets contain far too much of it, often without us even realizing it. Much of the sodium we consume doesn't come from the salt shaker on our table, but from processed, packaged, and restaurant foods. And for those over 60, our bodies tend to be more sensitive to sodium's effects, making an even greater concern for heart health. Let's imagine Doris, a delightful 62-year-old who enjoyed her takeout meals and ready-made sauces. She rarely added extra salt to her home cooking, so she thought she was doing well. However, her blood pressure readings were consistently high, causing her doctor concern. She was bewildered, as she believed she had a relatively healthy lifestyle. Her doctor explained that sodium plays a direct role in blood pressure regulation. When you consume too much sodium, your body retains water to dilute it. This extra fluid increases the volume of blood in your vessels, which in turn increases the pressure on your artery walls. Over time, this constant high pressure can damage and narrow your arteries, leading to hypertension, increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke, kidney disease, and heart failure. The doctor pointed out that foods like canned soups, frozen meals, deli meats, breads, cheeses, and condiments are often surprisingly high in hidden sodium. Doris decided to embark on a low-sodium journey. She started cooking more meals from scratch, using fresh ingredients and flavoring her food with herbs, spices, lemon juice, and vinegars instead of salt. She began reading food labels meticulously, looking for low sodium or no added salt versions of canned goods and frozen vegetables. She also reduced her reliance on takeout, as restaurant foods are often loaded with sodium to enhance flavor. It was a challenging adjustment at first, as her taste buds were accustomed to a higher salt level. But within a few weeks, she started noticing the natural flavors of food more intensely. More importantly, her blood pressure began to trend downwards, and her doctor was pleased with her progress. Doris realized that reducing sodium wasn't about bland food. It was about retraining her palate and embracing the vibrant flavors of real, whole ingredients. This conscious effort was a powerful step in safeguarding her heart and ensuring a healthier future. 5. Refined grains, the quick burn fuel for heart trouble. Our fifth area of concern is refined grains. These are grains that have been processed to remove the bran and germ, which contain most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Think white bread, white pasta, white rice, many breakfast cereals, and pastries. While they might offer a quick energy boost, they act very similarly to sugar in your body and can contribute to several heart health risks. Consider Leo, a jovial 65-year-old who loved his morning toast, lunchtime sandwiches on white bread, and evening pasta dishes. He considered bread and pasta staples of a healthy diet, having eaten them his whole life. However, he had recently been diagnosed with elevated blood sugar, and his doctor mentioned concerns about inflammation markers in his blood, both of which could impact his heart. His doctor explained that when you eat refined grains, your body rapidly breaks them down into glucose, causing a quick spike in blood sugar. This surge requires your pancreas to produce a large amount of insulin to bring blood sugar levels back down. Over time, this constant demand on the pancreas can lead to insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes, which significantly increases the risk of heart disease. Furthermore, the lack of fiber in refined grains means they don't provide the satiety that whole grains do, leading to overeating and weight gain. The inflammatory response triggered by frequent blood sugar spikes also contributes to arterial damage and heart disease. Whole grains, on the other hand, contain fiber which slows down sugar absorption, provides steady energy, and helps lower cholesterol. Leo was surprised by the comparison to sugar. He decided to make a gradual shift. He started by swapping his white toast for whole wheat toast or oatmeal for breakfast. For lunch, He opted for sandwiches on 100% whole grain bread or lettuce wraps. In the evenings, he experimented with brown rice, quinoa, and whole wheat pasta. He also started incorporating legumes like black beans and lentils, which are excellent sources of fiber and protein. The transition wasn't immediate, but Leo found that he felt fuller for longer and had more sustained energy throughout the day, without the energy slumps he used to experience. Over several months, his blood sugar levels began to stabilize, and his inflammation markers improved. Leo discovered that choosing whole grains wasn't about giving up his favorite foods, but about making smarter, more nutrient-dense choices that provided long-term benefits for his heart and overall well-being. 6. Deep-fried foods, the triple threat. Our sixth category that warrants a careful look is deep-fried foods. From crispy chips and French fries to fried chicken and donuts, these foods are often irresistible. However, the process of deep frying typically involves unhealthy oils and high temperatures, creating a triple threat to your heart. Trans fats, if partially hydrogenated oils are used, excessive saturated fats, and harmful compounds formed during high heat cooking. Let's think about Clara, a spirited 70-year-old who cherished her weekly fish and chips takeout and her occasional visits to the local diner for fried chicken. She loved the taste and convenience, but she was experiencing unexplained fatigue, and her recent checkup showed elevated cholesterol and signs of increased inflammation. She attributed it to her age. Her doctor explained that deep frying saturates food with unhealthy fats. If the oil used is partially hydrogenated, it introduces harmful trans fats. Even if healthier oils like vegetable oil are used, deep frying significantly increases their saturated fat content and can create harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs, when food is cooked at high temperatures. These AGEs can contribute to inflammation, oxidative stress, and damage to blood vessels, accelerating the aging process of arteries and increasing the risk of heart disease. Furthermore, fried foods are often high in calories, contributing to weight gain, which itself is a risk factor for heart disease. Clara was disheartened, as fried foods were a comfort for her, but she was determined to protect her heart. She started by drastically reducing her fried food intake. Instead of weekly fish and chips, she would bake or air fry her fish at home. She discovered that air frying could give her the crispy texture she loved without the excessive oil. When she craved chicken, she opted for grilled or baked versions. She also explored roasting vegetables with a drizzle of olive oil instead of frying them. Over time, Clara noticed a significant improvement in her energy levels. Her cholesterol began to normalize, and she generally felt lighter and more vibrant. She learned that a little creativity in the kitchen could satisfy her cravings without compromising her heart health. Clara's story reminds us that with little adjustment, we can still enjoy delicious meals while making choices that lovingly support our heart. 7. Commercial baked goods and pastries, the hidden sugar and fat bombs. Our final category is commercial baked goods and pastries. These include items like cookies, cakes, donuts, muffins, and croissants found in supermarkets and many coffee shops. While they might be a delightful treat or a quick breakfast on the go, they're often loaded with a potent combination of refined flours, excessive added sugars, unhealthy fats, including saturated and potentially trans fats, and often lack beneficial fiber. Consider John, a retired librarian in his mid-60s. John enjoyed a Danish or a large muffin with his coffee almost every morning, and a cookie or slice of cake in the afternoon as a pick-me-up. He wasn't overweight, so he didn't think much of his sweet tooth. However, he was recently diagnosed with consistently high blood pressure and prediabetes, and his doctor was concerned about the long-term impact on his heart. His doctor gently explained that these commercial baked goods are calorie-dense but nutrient-poor. The combination of refined flours and high sugar content leads to rapid blood sugar spikes, stressing the pancreas and contributing to insulin resistance and inflammation. The unhealthy fats, particularly saturated fats, often from butter, shortening or palm oil, and potentially hidden trans fats from partially hydrogenated oils, directly contribute to elevated LDL cholesterol and arterial damage. Over time, this constant barrage of sugar and unhealthy fats creates an inflammatory environment in the body, leading to plaque buildup in the arteries and increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. John was surprised. He viewed them as simple treats. He decided to tackle this habit by finding healthier alternatives. He started by making his own oatmeal or whole grain toast with fruit for breakfast. When he craved something sweet, he opted for fresh fruit, a small handful of nuts, or a piece of dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher, in moderation. He also learned to bake some healthier versions of his favorite treats at home, using whole wheat flour, less sugar, and healthier fats like olive oil or applesauce. It took some adjustment for John to reduce his sugar cravings, but within a few weeks, he noticed his energy levels were more stable throughout the day. His blood sugar readings began to improve, and gradually, his blood pressure started to trend downwards. John learned that true indulgence means nourishing his body, not just satisfying a fleeting craving. By making mindful choices about his baked goods, he was actively protecting his heart and reclaiming his vitality. We've covered 7 everyday foods that, while common in our diets, could be silently impacting your heart health after 60. Processed meats, sugary drinks, trans fats, excessive salt, refined grains, deep-fried foods, and commercial baked goods. This isn't about fear or restriction. It's about empowerment through understanding. Your heart is a precious gift, and nurturing it is one of the most profound acts of self-love you can undertake. Remember Clara's journey with pottery boosting her memory, or Robert fueling his brain with healthy food. Just like these examples, making small, conscious shifts in your diet can lead to remarkable improvements in your cardiovascular well-being. It's about making informed choices, exploring healthier alternatives, and gradually shifting your palate to truly appreciate the flavors of whole, unprocessed foods. I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned today. What's one food category that resonated most with you? What's one gentle change you feel ready to make to better support your heart, starting today? Please share your thoughts and commitments in the comments below. Your experiences and insights are incredibly valuable, and they can inspire others in our wonderful community on their own journeys to heart health. If this video has brought you value, sparked an insight, or given you practical ideas, please give a thumbs up. It truly helps us spread this message of empowerment and healthy aging to more people who can benefit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos designed to support your well-being. Share this video with a friend or family member who might also benefit from these gentle yet powerful insights. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, every conscious food choice you make is a loving act towards your heart. Let's commit to making those choices wisely, with care and intention, ensuring your heart continues to beat strong and true for many joyful years to come.